It's really about manners and respect elders and treat your sibling and your parents the way you want to be treated. That's very important for us.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Life of Dad Show. Here in the Life of Dad Show, we talk with athletes, actors, entrepreneurs, CEOs, musicians, entertainers who've all made a name for themselves, but the one thing that is most important to them is being a dad. In this week's episode of the Life of Dad Show Rewind, I'm showcasing the interview I did with former Boston Bruins star and now president of the Boston Bruins, Cam Neely. We talk about fatherhood, we talk about hockey, and we also talk a little bit about acting as well. I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. Also, Cam is featured in the Life of Dad book that is now on sale. You can purchase it wherever books are sold. It's the Life of Dad book that John Finkel and I wrote together. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's great for Father's Day. So get a little insight on Cam's thoughts on fatherhood and then go online and purchase the book. Thanks again for always the support. Hope you guys enjoyed this interview. Hey everybody, it's Art Eddy for the Life of Dad show, and on the line I'm happy to have Boston Bruins great and member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, Cam Neely. Thanks for taking the time today, Cam. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And first off, let's talk a little bit of hockey before we get into your foundation and fatherhood. You probably get this question a lot right now with the changes in the NHL, but what is your take, I guess, on the possible changes, especially to overtime?
I'm not a fan of the shootout. I've never been a fan of the shootout, so if we can try and decide a game before getting to a shootout, I'm all for it. I think if we get into a 3-on-3, there'll be a lot of scoring opportunities, and you'll be able to finish off a game. And so my feeling is if somehow we can do 4-on-4 for a period of time and then get into a 3-on-3, if there's no score to settle the game, after 3-on-3, then, okay, go into a shootout. But I think there's going to be too many scoring opportunities not to finish a game playing 3-on-3.
Nice. And just going to your great career, I know you probably get this a lot as well, but do you have like one moment, or was there one team that you loved playing against? Was there a certain rival that sticks out the most to you?
I really enjoyed playing against Montreal. There was such a rivalry. When I first got to Boston, it was a big deal. Anytime you played Montreal, whether it was in Boston or in Montreal, which I really enjoyed playing in Montreal as well. It just was such a great hockey atmosphere. And like I said, it was a big rivalry, so everybody was always up for those games. Nice.
In 2005, you were inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame. When you were first notified, I bet you were going through a bevy of emotions, but what was kind of your initial reaction, if you can kind of remember that?
Just shock in a sense where you're put in a place with these guys that you looked up to for years and years and years playing the game of hockey, and start thinking about all the people that have helped you along the way, and it's just quite an honor. I mean, I just felt very honored to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
And, of course, right now you're the president for the Boston Bruins, obviously played in Boston, had a great career there. Has being a player helped you out with your current position as a president?
I believe it has. I can certainly look at a lot of situations with our players and think like a player, so that's beneficial. Playing in the league as long as I did and going through a lot of things as a player, I certainly reflect back on that. I know the game's a little different, times have changed, but bottom line is you're still a hockey player, and I can reflect on a lot of those things, whether it's playing a lot of games in a short period of time or having some time off and how before in between games and how players may feel. But a lot of times I think about what it would be like for a player now that I have the experience and being able to look back and think about some of those moments in time where maybe I had some questions but didn't have the answers.
One of the things, too, is you guys won the Stanley Cup a few years back, and Boston was just like all of a sudden title town. It was the Red Sox, Patriots, you guys, Celtics, especially growing up, playing in Boston. How exciting was it to bring a championship to the city of Boston, especially bringing the Stanley Cup home there?
Well, it was a long time in between cups, so our fan base certainly deserved it. They've been loyal. They're very supportive. They know the game extremely well. Obviously, being an Original Six franchise, it's kind of ingrained in the culture here in New England and Boston, whether it was your grandfather took your father, and now he's taken you. So there's a lot of history with the sport, and to be able to win the cup and bring it back to Boston and have that parade and have everybody get an opportunity to enjoy and what winning a championship is all about it was certainly a special feeling for everybody in this organization.
Yeah, I grew up in New England. I used to live in New Hampshire, and just all my friends and just family were excited that you guys, brought the cup back to Boston. So thanks for that, and congratulations to that. And speaking of support and just being in the city of Boston, I have to say speaking of your foundation, as someone who lost a parent to cancer, and I know you lost both your parents to cancer, I can definitely understand your mindset and just the loss. But I want to thank you for doing all the great work you did for the Cam Neely Foundation and setting that up. For you, how did that foundation come to be, and how did it start up?
Well, as most people know, being a professional athlete, you get opportunities to help out in various ways and different charities. And when I was going through what I was with my parents, I kind of gravitated more towards cancer-related causes, and then just figured, why not do something that I know is needed based on the experiences my family had with my parents. And for us to find a way to provide comfort, support, and hope to cancer patients and their families. Being a family member of a cancer patient, as I'm sure you know, going through with one of your parents, there's not really a lot you can do, especially if it's your parent. The doctors don't really fill you in too much. They don't give you too much information on what's going on, and you feel kind of left out, but you're still affected by that terrible disease. So that was the reason why I decided to start the foundation.
Well, again, thank you so much for doing that. And also, you and Dennis Leary have a great connection, great friendship. And you guys actually this year just completed the Comics Come Home fundraiser, which had a tremendous line of comedians, like, of course, Dennis Leary, Jimmy Fallon, Tracy Morgan, and all that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to that one. How did it go this year?
This year, we say it every year, but this year, it was said by many, it was the best show. And it was a fantastic show. It's a great way. First of all, I got to commend and give Dennis and Apostle Pictures a ton of credit. They really go above and beyond and put this lineup together and the show together. And it's really a fantastic way to take your mind off for a couple hours of maybe, some of the things that you're dealing with and be able to raise money for cancer patients and families. I mean, it's a nonstop laugh fest. Great way to raise money.
Yeah, I was reading a review on some of it, and Dennis and Fallon were kind of doing the "I got you, babe," but just in regards to the Yankees Red Sox, right?
Yeah, that was great. Obviously changed the lyrics around a little bit, but it was tongue in cheek and very funny.
Very cool. And we'll definitely post links to the Cam Neely Foundation up on all the sites that this is going to be on as well. So again, thanks for doing that. And you guys do a great job with the Comics Come Home fundraiser. And one of the other things here at Life of Dad, we love talking about fatherhood. You have 2 kids. What are some of the core values that you want to instill in your children? I know they're kind of in their teenage years, I believe, but what are some of the values you want them to take with them?
Well, the big thing for my wife, Paulina, and myself is manners. We want them, please and thank you is very important. The guest comes to the house, you stand up and you introduce yourself if they haven't met them before. I mean, it's really about manners and respect elders and treat your sibling and your parents the way you want to be treated. That's very important for us. I think it goes a long way, and it'll stay with them the rest of their lives.
Excellent. Yeah, I think those are great values. And as a father who played in probably, I think, one of the toughest sports, hands down, what are your thoughts on leagues, maybe like NHL, NFL, and some other sports, trying to make the sport safer from the pro level all the way down to like grade school levels?
Well, I think the NHL is doing a great job of making our sport safer for everybody, not just at the NHL level, but like you said, all the way through youth hockey. It's about education, awareness, doing a really good job of trying to take away or minimize certain types of body checks or hits to the head or whatever you want to call it, where there's going to be stiff suspensions or penalties. But at the end of the day, it's really about the players. They have to really kind of make sure that they're doing the right things on the ice. We can educate them as much as possible, and the league certainly, I think, in the forefront of doing that, and has been for a while. But the players have to be smart on the ice as well.
Nice. And do any of your kids' friends try and get you on the ice to play against them?
Yeah, I think they look at me and say, "There's no way this guy can skate." So I would get out once in a while with him. It's a lot of fun, but my knees start barking a little too much.
Gotcha. And growing up in your generation now, for your kids' generation, what are some of the major changes that you see? Or there are certain things that you're just like, wow, I didn't have to deal with this when I was a kid. But what are some challenges that you see that your kids are going to face?
Well, technology obviously has changed dramatically, and everybody's always connected, which I don't necessarily see as a good thing all the time.
True, yeah.
So, although my son said to me one time, he said, "Dad, it's 2013.
Oh, man.
So, and my son is not as connected as most, and I was, kind of giving it to him a little bit about being on the phone in the car, like, whether it was texting or doing something else, and And he just turned and gave me that deadpan kind of, it's 2013. The other thing is really education. It's our kids are in great schools, and I just see the amount of work and what they're learning. I certainly didn't have those opportunities. I think the education here that you can provide your kids is something that you obviously take advantage of, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it's funny when I ask people this question, they kind of go on maybe the negative side of technology, and I get that. But this is I like the positive side of education, where there's something where it's expanded, your kids' generation with a world of just more knowledge and technology that could be used for good. So I appreciate that.
Well, it's true. I mean, my son, can take his iPad into school and take notes off the iPad instead of writing it down, and it's much easier for him because these kids grow up typing now, not writing.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you answering the fatherhood questions. And lastly, outside of hockey fans, I gotta know, did you get recognized more for your great hockey career or your amazing role as Seabass in Dumb?
It's really a combination. Obviously, hockey more, but I do hear a lot of kick his ass Seabass while I'm walking the streets every now and again.
Nice. Very cool. Cam, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you have a very, very busy and hectic schedule. Again, we'll put links up to the Cam Neely Foundation, and continued success with everything you're doing with the Bruins and, of course, your great foundation.
Great. I really appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right. You take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Life of Dad Show. You know where to find us, lifeofdad.com, and on Twitter and Facebook.